Hey there, gang. It's Will here, and we're back for another episode of The Wheel. For today's installment, I came out to BRQ, a local eatery specializing in barbecue and seafood. But as we're about to see today, they're offering up something a little bit different. So why don't we go inside and see what Chef Justin Ferguson has in store for us? Let's do it. All right, so Chef Justin, let me ask you, if you had to pick one thing on the menu, one appetizer that's your favorite to make, what would you say it is?
It's got to be the newest dish that we've been working on, and it's really our crispy pig ear that we're doing. And the reason it's so important to me is trying to take, things from animals that typically you wouldn't think that you could make delicious. And as we make this dish and you try it, it's just amazing.
All right. Well, coincidentally, it looks like we have all the ingredients here, so why don't you walk us through the process?
All right, so first what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off with an aioli that we're gonna use kind of to soften this up. So we've got 5 egg yolks right here. We're gonna put a little squeeze of lemon in here just to get the acidity. A little 3 cloves of garlic. All right, and so next big thing is we're gonna take some fresh cilantro, a little bit of fresh picked parsley. All right. Now this is a little bit of sambal, okay? So this is a garlic chili paste just to kind of offset it a little bit. Really good. And then what I've done here is I've taken half a jalapeno and I've just kind of charred it up and roasted it just to kind of give it a little bit of flavor, okay? So we're gonna put that on there. We're gonna start off on the lowest setting and turn this on and kind of really get this going and blend it up. All right. Now that I get it going, I'm gonna give it a nice little pinch of salt, okay? Just a pinch. And we're really gonna start catching this up. Now the key to aioli is the easy drizzle of oil, and this is what's gonna thicken it. So basically we're making a mayonnaise, but a very flavored mayonnaise, okay?
So if the pour is too aggressive, what happens?
It's gonna break, and you're not gonna get this nice sauce, and so we're gonna kind of take this up a little bit. Yeah. And you're gonna be able to hear it. It's gonna start really working hard, and that's when we know we're about at our consistency.
I hope you guys can appreciate the thinness of this pour. It's phenomenal.
You hear it? It's working. We're done. Yeah. So it kind of gets, down a little bit, really nice and pretty, right on the bottom here. So we're gonna set that right there. Now, the star of the show right here. So let's talk about everything that it takes for this pig ear. Very, very not that expensive product to get. Most people, this is not what they're looking to keep. So what I did is I was like, you know what? Why don't I cure these ears the way I do bacon? And so what we did is we did a 4-day cure. Brown sugar, kosher salt, cinnamon, a little bit of nutmeg, a little bit of clove, and just kind of laid it in there, layered it up, and for 4 days let it roll. Took it out, rinsed it off, braised it for about 4.5 hours. Now, a lot of people probably just use water or anything else. Well, at BRQ, we save every bone that we have from all the chicken we pull. We use nothing but whole chickens, and we pull all the meat. So what I did is I took those smoked bones and we made a smoked chicken stock. And then so what I did is then take that chicken stock and I cook these pig ears in that smoked chicken stock. So, most of it is gelatinous and cartilage, but what this is going to do in a minute, and you're going to see, is we're going to fry it up, and it's going to kind of taste like bacon, and it's just really nice. So what I'm going to do is just trim this up right here, and so it's not too much. We're just going to cut it in some strips right here. You'll see this in about every other country has a different way of cooking meat, and everyone eats pig ears. And so when I made these and got them, most of my staff got really excited. So in different countries, when you start dropping these in, you need to stand back because it is going to pop, and I don't want anybody to get hit. So you're going to hear it because we did braise it.
Sure. Oh, there you go.
See what I mean? So you're going to kind of stand back a little bit. Now all that's going to go away in a second.
You say people eat pig ears all over the world. Tell me a little bit about the different styles that you might encounter here or there.
A lot of people is going to kind of do something similar where they'll just braise them down and cook them,
sure.
and add them to salads, so it's tender. In other countries, especially poor countries, you know, they eat everything. You know, they don't waste anything. And so what's really important is finding ways to do this. You know, whether you're in South America and this goes on a taco, or, you know, in French and it's cooked down and they use it in a soup. You know, so here we're kind of doing our kind of own thing to it.
Sure.
While this is crisping up, I'm gonna go ahead and start our sunny side egg.
Sunny side egg.
You know,
the most optimistic of the eggs.
What I like about what the egg's gonna do here is it's gonna give a nice creaminess over the top. You're gonna get that aioli that's sitting on the bottom, and it's just gonna be a really nice bite. So as this is cooking, this is all it's all gonna wanna kind of come together. And so you're gonna wanna cook this until you can really tell that the fat is starting to really crisp up, almost like if you were having crackling. You know, here in South Louisiana, everybody eats crackling. So these are looking fantastic. And you can see, now they're not popping anymore. They're kind of, it's just looking really, really good.
So it is interesting, you know, you're going back to just how widely consumed it is all over the world. So it's not, you know, people might not realize, at least here locally, that it's not an especially exotic food.
No.
You put your spin on it, makes it something unique.
And you know, that's what I try to explain to everybody. They're like, oh, did you create this new recipe? I was like, I didn't create anything. This has been around for hundreds of years, and most of all the food that we do, you know, it's been done over and over. We're just changing it and constantly.
It's a nice proprietary touch on it.
Absolutely, and that's what it's all about. You know, whether you go to any big city and eat, and we, you know, me and my wife, our favorite thing to do is to travel and just eat. Like we eat, and,
it's a good plan.
Sample new foods. That's vacation for us. So when we go somewhere, it's great to see different influences, different cultures on food. You know, especially this. I mean, I had pig ears probably 3 different ways the last time I was in Chicago, you know, and so it was just unique to taste the difference. And then when I got back here, I was like, man, I really want to do this, but I want to do it a little bit different, you know, that I think would work here.
Sure.
We're just going to kind of pull these out and just let them drain for a second. All right. And while they're hot, we're just going to take a little bit of the pig powder, and we're just going to hit it on top, okay?
Which is not pulverized pig, it's just.
And while that egg is finishing up, we've got our aioli here. If you can look at it, it's just really creamy. You can see the
great consistency.
It's just really nice, and it's gonna have a lot of flavor to it. So what I do, we just want to put that down. You need something to kind of give it a little bit of touch on the bottom here. Okay. These aren't spicy. They're nice, sweet vinegar kind of pickled peppers that we made. We're gonna take our egg. We're gonna kind of set it right over the top. All right, a little bit of garnish on here. Just adding that, and look, just taking a little bit of cilantro and just adding it to it. I love the freshness. Some people love cilantro, some people hate cilantro. I'm kind of on one of the fans that love cilantro. And there you go.
All right. Now, I don't know that I'm going to be able to get a little bit of everything in one bite.
We're just kind of
like so.
Just kind of like so, kind of break it off,
okay.
and really. You just kind of want to get down here. I like to pop that egg yolk like this. And just pound it in there.
Oh yeah, that's very good. I see the crackling analogy you made.
Right.
Very comparable, yeah.
And so if I would have told you this was pig ears, you would have no idea.
No, pig ear. This is really good. Well, Justin, this was absolutely fantastic, but give me the wheel.
I might try one of these.
Well, this is quite the mouth-watering spread you've put together, Chef Justin. Magnificent work.
Wow.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about what we're going to be eating today?
We have homemade boudin balls. So this is all made in house. We have our smoked queso here. We had fun with this. This is just our baked goat cheese. You know, it was kind of a spin to do something fun from like 1979.
I hope to have fun with it.
You know, but so that Pomodoro sauce is a sauce I had at one of the Italian restaurants I ran in Chicago, and so kind of brought that here with some garlic. It's just a fun dish that's really good. And then, you know, we've got the nachos over here, which is an appetizer but can feed an army.
Well, you're in luck. We have one. Yep.
Yeah. Over on the other end over here, we have our brisket debris fries. We go through about 2,000 pounds of potatoes a week.
Brisket debris.
Brisket debris. So you're gonna get a little bit of queso on there, our homemade barbecue sauce, you know, kind of some brisket burn-ins on there. Really good. And
Not
then,
debris harvested from a nearby rack or anything.
Right. And then what we have down here that our server just brought, that's our jumbo lump crab cake. So all huge jumbo lump crab meat. You guys dig in.
Let's meet today's panel. Right here we have Claire, mother of 2 hungry high schoolers. Mark, architect extraordinaire, local, and then Holly is a local attorney, so if anything goes awry here, we'll have some.
Husband of a hungry architect.
That's right, yeah, the marketect. Yeah. All right, well, bon appetit, gang.
Thank you. You guys want to try these?
Yeah.
That crab smells
I'm
amazing.
gonna have some of this. My aunt lives in Connecticut, and her litmus test for a good crab cake is if it has filler in it or not. You know, a lot of crab cakes have a lot of bread.
Yeah, so what's great about these is you just put a little panko on the outside to set it, and then that's it. And this just kind of pan-seared, so.
And tell us again about these cocktails.
All right, so this is the newest cocktail that's on, and it's an Irish mint julep, mint simple syrup. Just really good. A little bit of lime juice in there. Very strong. So in one batch, don't tell, there's 8 bottles of liquor in that. Yeah. So when you
But only 4 in this particular pour.
tell them to do Irish whiskey.
This frosé tastes dangerous. What's in it?
So fresh strawberries, rosé wine, and vodka.
So how did you get in the barbecue world?
I've worked in open restaurants from Boston, Chicago, New Orleans, you know, and finally moved back home here. And while in Chicago, I was a corporate chef for a restaurant group, and one of the restaurants we had was a barbecue restaurant, and that was actually the one when I moved there, I kind of took over and really fell in love, and really never saw barbecue done in a full-scale restaurant like this. And there's not many. Most are small walk-up counter, and here you go, a bunch of squeeze bottles, and you know, for a lot of people, that's barbecue. You know, so I was able to see basically 2 restaurants become one, where yes, we do really good barbecue, and we also do a full other menu with seafood and items like this right here.
Well, that was the thing I was going to bring up. I mean, for all the justified credit and publicity you guys get for your barbecue, a lot of people don't realize y'all are a seafood restaurant as well.
Correct, and you know what's really important to know is that we have one fisherman that gets all our fish for us, and from down in New Iberia, and catches everything for the restaurant and brings it here. You know, so it's all fresh. So using local is really
Consistently
important.
sourced.
Consistently, yeah. You know, and he calls me. He's like, hey, you know, I've got 40 pounds coming in on Wednesday. I'm going back out. You know, so having that connection with the guy that's going out and actually catching your fish and being able to tell the story is awesome.
What they have available, does that dictate your menu at all?
It does, you know, and you know, sometimes it's hard. So when he catches other stuff, he's like, hey, I got snapper. It's like, okay, you know, and you kind of got to work around it. But you know, having that connection is just great, and being able to drive down and see, you know, that your fish coming off the boat is great.
Well, but I think knowledgeable customers understand and appreciate that too.
I was going to say, my husband's one of those people, he always asks before when he orders fish.
Yeah, I don't order fish in North Dakota.
Yeah, no, right. You know, so that's one of the really cool things that we get to do here, and we can change our menu when we want. You know, we've got a, you know, one week we have something come in and it's like, hey, let's do it, let's run with it. It's like, we want to do the pig ears, okay, let's do it.
I mean, a lot of people don't appreciate. Oh yeah.
So back to the barbecue. I know there's certain kinds. Like, Kansas City, Memphis, Texas, North Carolina, where are you pulling your flavors and barbecue style from?
I want to say we represent a little bit of each region and the best from those regions. So when you order a barbecue platter here, which we're doing abs now, we represent 4 different sauces. So you've got a South Carolina mustard, you've got a Eastern North Carolina vinegar, then we do kind of your kind of Tennessee, Kansas City original mild sweet, and then we do a Louisiana spicy to represent our region and kind of Texas. The brisket portion is all Texas. Carolinas don't consider brisket barbecue, and so it's kind of a old thing. And traditionally, a lot of people only consider whole hog cooking true barbecue off the pig. So it depends on what part of the country you go for, but don't go to Texas and say that brisket ain't barbecue because you might get shot.
Right.
Literally.
But in your position, you really have to be master of all geographic stuff.
Correct. I think the hardest thing about doing a barbecue restaurant is it's the one thing everybody knows, and everybody's mom, dad, grandpa, uncle, everybody's got.
I think they have the best.
And they have the best. Okay, well, we're cooking 2,000 pounds of brisket a week.
Right.
And
We're
so
doing something right.
Yeah.
and so it's hard because we want to keep that consistency. Whether you're here, for lunch on Monday, or you're the last table that walks in at 9:45, everything we can do to make sure that is the same quality from start to finish is a challenge, and I love it because I've opened so many different styles of restaurants, and we were talking earlier, from fine dining Italian to doing French to running steakhouses, and by far getting barbecue right all the time is the hardest.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
especially that volume.
I love that challenge. We have one pitmaster here. He touches all the barbecue, and that's it. He's on it from 5 in the morning to 6 o'clock at night, because we'll load the pits around 5 to be picked up at 5 the next morning. So they're around the clock. So that's important. But
It's such a good mix.
What would you say the most popular appetizer is on the menu, or is there one?
the crab cakes, we saw a lot of crab cakes.
I ordered this a lot.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people
A
order
lot of people order the nachos, but I think more so for lunch and for like if you have a big table, it's great to share, but I mean, it's a full meal,
Right.
So, and then, sometimes if somebody wants a half order, we'll kind of get it down and do a smaller order of it,
with the crab cakes mostly.
Mm-hmm. Well, if y'all,
I'm guilty of it too.
if y'all haven't had, these are our meatballs. So these are made with fresh ground brisket that we do. We took these off the menu and people got real mad, so I had to put it back on.
There was like picketing on the street. I think I drove by
Right.
one time.
And so the sauce that's actually on that is me and my wife, and it's our family recipe, and we actually make the sauce and sell it here. It's called Uncle's, and it's a sauce her father created down in New Iberia, and we use all Louisiana raw cane sugar. It's all made there, and we bottle it.
So are y'all both from Louisiana?
Yes.
Because I heard you say like Chicago.
Oh, I've chased this career everywhere.
Yeah, Tell us a little bit about your culinary background.
Yeah, I mean, so I was in the military.
That's great.
Did 2 tours in Iraq and
Thank
got
you
out,
for your
and
service.
well, appreciate it, and got out and really needed to find a job, and I thought I was going to get out and try to go police, but when I was getting out, so many people were going that route. There was a waiting list, couldn't get a job, so I started washing dishes in a restaurant on the weekends and doing construction, and then really, I always enjoyed cooking, but really, was like, okay, I could do this. And, so I put myself through culinary school, went to the Louisiana Culinary Institute, and which coincidentally now are my partners in this restaurant. And graduated there and moved to Boston. I worked for some of the top chefs in the country up there for a while, and then moved back here, and I worked for Superior Seafood. I opened that for the Superior Group, and then I used to be the chef at the Roosevelt Hotel in New Orleans, and then moved to Chicago and was a corporate chef for a restaurant group there, and had the privilege of working with Art Smith, so doing 2 restaurants with him, 3 other restaurants on my own with the group, and then did that, and then had the opportunity to move back here to do this. And so, yeah, I turned 38 this year, so 37.
God,
So,
you've done a lot in a short amount of time.
but the key is everybody's like, man, what does it take in this industry? And I can honestly say it has been nonstop, almost 7 days a week.
That's what I've heard about being a restaurant owner. You have to be there.
Yeah, we have to be. I mean, I'm here roughly 7 days a week. And so that.
Does your wife work here as well?
She does. Yeah. So she handles. She's managing this morning, but she handles all the payroll, the HR, handles that side, so I don't have to worry about it.
And so y'all actually see each other.
Yeah, and we have a big catering company too. It's called Bacon and Fig. So
Bacon and Fig.
So when we're not here, we're doing weddings and cooking at the governor's mansion, which we do quite a bit. And so big company events, parties.
Mention that. So yeah, I mean, on those nights that y'all are open until 10, which would be Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, Friday and Saturday.
You're probably here until.
But at least 9 till it starts dying down. The hardest part is we have an 8-month-old, so balancing the father time and home time that's the hardest part, and being tired. Yeah.
Sleeping through the night yet?
No.
Mark would like to try boudin.
Yeah, I have twins, so I remember the.
I'm a twin.
Are you?
Oh yeah.
Are you identical, fraternal?
Fraternal.
Okay. Yeah, I have identical girls, but
Yeah.
Yeah, before they were sleeping through the night, I cried a lot.
My wife got up last night, and I did the 2 nights before, so I was real I heard her get up. I was like, oh, thank you.
yeah.
like,
you
oh.
you like just cross your fingers.
I was
and
like,
cringe,
so are you getting up or am I getting up? I was like, oh, you're gonna do it. I love you. I was like,
Was he a little boy or little girl?
little boy, he's cute.
Do y'all plan on having more kids or?
That's what we're discussing. Yeah,
Wait till you're not so tired.
yeah. I was like, let's get through this.
Well, we love surprises on the show. If you want to say something now, this is the time for the announcement. I think it's great it's happening.
No,
You anyway.
no. She would kill me if that was right now. She'd be like, no. She's like, I at least want like 6 months of like sleep. So I was like, yes.
Oh, yeah.
So
I mean, we have pretty serious discussions about getting a new animal, so I can't imagine,
look, our dog, our pit bull Todd is the king of the house, and he's awesome. He's so good with the kids. We have 20 chickens, so we do all organic eggs and stuff that we'll bring in and use in the restaurants when we can. And so we love our chickens. I have 7
Do y'all have a
ducks.
big yard?
Yeah, so we have almost.
No, they're all inside. They're well domesticated
Chickens.
chickens.
Mark wanted to get pet chickens, and I was like, they're going to end up being inside chickens. Like, we can't.
You had 19. You decided to get that 20th.
Yeah, exactly.
Do they have names?
Yes, they have names, and I'm not allowed to eat them from my
course
wife.
not.
So, and Sylvia is my wife's favorite. So,
Can you pick them up at home?
oh, when I come home, they run to you, like they're
Like the chicks and the ducks, and everybody's just.
I love it.
especially when they're hungry, because they know you're the one that feeds them. Yeah, you walk up and it's like, well, at least 20 people love me here, and this is it. So, yeah, animals. So, from a culinary standpoint, we have a huge garden, so we grow as much as we can at our house, and we use here in the restaurant. So, we're kind of through the mid of summer now, so we're about to get ready to plant our fall garden. And so I'll grow everything that we can use here.
It's pretty time consuming. Who takes care of the garden?
I do.
Chickens, actually,
So,
believe it
yeah.
or not. Yeah, that's how well trained they are.
And right now, it's funny, so when we clean out the chicken coop, everything goes in the garden right now. And so we get these beautiful, beautiful vegetables. I mean, my tomatoes this year were fantastic, and our cucumbers and everything else. I mean, all the cucumbers we go through here, so we make all these pickles. So we go through 900 pounds of pickles a week that we give away for free along with the potato chips. And so nobody thinks about that. Like, oh, we get pickles. But you don't realize
Where
it's
they come
900 pounds. So we try to use local farmers, but we buy them out. And they're like, hey, we want to do your pickles for
I
you.
want to
I'm
be
like,
your pickle man.
I want to be your pickle guy. I'm like, okay. And he's like, okay, well, how much do y'all go through a week? I was like, 900 pounds. He's like, that's everything I have. And I was like, great, I'll take everything. See you next year.
And then I'll still have to make some of my own.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me your watch too.
So sourcing these is actually a pretty big deal, because not too many people go through 900 pounds of pickles versus big, people that are making pickles.
I can't even imagine what that looks like. I'm trying to visualize it.
How many boxes of pickles would be 900 pounds?
And so that's, I think, to everyone at home, that's what you don't really think about,
How many back of house staff do you have? I mean, chefs, sous chefs. I mean, you got a pit master. How does that work?
So I'm the GM, the executive chef, the sous chef.
Doorman.
Yeah, with a lot of hats, but
Oh, man after my own scalp.
Yeah, that's right. I have an amazing crew back here, and it's taken 2 years to get there. And so most of the guys, that are back there have all been cooking for a long time. They're super disciplined. They come into work. You could walk back in our kitchen. It's always quiet. It's just work. And it did not start off that way. Because to find those people takes time. And I tell everybody that's opening a restaurant, I really don't go to a restaurant. I'll go try it out, but as a chef, because I know it's going to take a restaurant a year to a year and a half to get their footing. And I don't want to, as a chef and as another owner, it's like, I'll go to support them, but I know their best product is going to be a year and a half to 2 years after they've opened. Then they've hit their stride. And so
That's good to know.
Because
I've gone to soft openings for restaurants, and I'm like, it's just because they're trying to.
Well, you can always get a quiet kitchen when you tell them you're pretty proficient at cutting out tongues, too.
Yeah, that's true. That works.
Yeah. Right.
You learn, after about a year and a half, what's working and what's not working. That's the hardest thing that I think most chefs struggle with, and even restaurateurs, is you have to listen to your guests. And so we listen. So our menu changes due to listening to our customers' feedback. Hey, and if something's not working, hey, we want to change it. We want to make people happy, because I want to be your neighborhood spot to come to that you feel comfortable coming to a couple days a week.
So I'm looking at the bar here. Do you guys do a happy hour?
We do happy hour 7 days a week, from open till 6:30 p.m. So probably honestly one of the cheapest places to drink in town. And that's the one thing we've been focused on here is Monday I've got a new cocktail list coming out, and it's really amazing. We've worked really hard.
Like kind of fall drinks or something?
Yeah, but just a little bit, just kind of stepping it up a little bit. I mean, we've got some stuff that's really good. And
Pumpkin spice tequila.
yeah.
What they're looking to do at some point. Yeah.
How do you come up with new drinks? Do you hire like a mixologist, or do y'all do that in house?
Me and my wife do it at the house for the most part. We like to travel, and we will, for our vacation, like we don't really do beaches. We don't do that. We'll go to big cities and we'll go eat. And so you really get to see what's really happening, where's the trends going. And so it's kind of an educational thing.
Like Fashion Week for clothes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when we go up there and it's like, I'm tasting stuff and they're like, oh, this just came out and this is new and these new spins. And you're like, oh my gosh, like, I want to bring this back home and let people try it because it's so good. And, if we weren't traveling and we weren't doing that when we can, I think we're missing the boat on changing the culture here. And that's kind of a hard thing to do in South Louisiana. And it's a slow process, and everybody will tell you,
They're
like,
set in their ways.
sometimes we're a few years behind on the culinary changes, what's going on. So, but being able to come back and take one or two things and present them, and
The least crazy idea.
the least crazy idea, and be like, this is really good. But I think, everyone in South Louisiana likes to drink, so that part I think we're really good at. So
We might be number one.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to offer some new stuff.
Right.
That's one of the things we were talking about yesterday. I mean, pig ear, it's really not that bizarre a dish.
No.
But, to people...
To some people it probably sounds.
Oh, sure, but one of the points he was making is that you travel all over the world. It's a much more common, accepted dish than you might believe.
But if you would take boudin and you would go somewhere else outside of Louisiana, people would be like, what is this?
I have a friend from Toronto that comes down just to try the boudin. He
Because
actually
it's
works
crazy.
with
It's
Well, I
different.
think this isn't as probably frightening or different to somebody as in the casing link
Right, exactly.
and somebody just gnawing.
Gnawing on it.
All right, so let's go over our favorites. What did we like the most?
goat cheese is amazing.
The crab cakes were
I was gonna say, I
out-
think the crab cake.
outstanding. The pig ears are very unique, very good as well.
But the meatballs, yeah.
Gosh, the meatballs.
I got to go with the pig ear myself. I think first cut is the deepest. When I had that backstage there, it was I don't know, it was an eye opener and a revelation. And I don't think I can stray too far from it. I may be a pig fan for life.
It's hard. Everything's delicious.
And the smoked queso has a nice flavor. You can tell it's a different kind of flavor than you normally get at like a Mexican restaurant.
I thought it was a nice balance of all things. So
Yeah, lots of flavors. I mean,
it's a very thoughtful appetizer menu, well put together. So.
there is literally something for everyone.
And it all pairs well with the alcohol.
Yeah, absolutely.
Most things.
Right, yeah.
I'll have the rosé and brisket pairing.
Exactly, yeah, that was lovely.
I appreciate how much effort and thought goes behind every bit of food that y'all.
Yeah.
It's important, and that's what we tell people here. It's like anybody that wants to walk through our kitchen, I'm like, come see. I'll show you what we're doing. You know, and because I'm confident.
Right, you're not.
I'm not scared to walk. Like,
Right, you're not worried about
health
what they
department
might
walks in,
say.
I'm like, hey, what's up? Come on, let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
You know, because
You call them up, invite them over. Yeah, you should come see our kitchen.
and there's times we do that. You know, and that's important. You know, from the time we bleach this kitchen from top to bottom every night, hose it down. You know, most people.
Is that really what you should do?
Yeah, every night we do that. Not everybody does that.
They should.
We do that.
Well, Justin, we have a surprise for you. Health inspector, come on out. Yeah.
Come on, they'll sit down and eat. They come in and eat. You know, so that's how you know if you're doing things right, is if your
They
health
stay and
inspectors come and eat.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I don't think I got anybody though.
You know,
You got only have one
yeah.
cycle left.
We want to see your wheels. Post your favorite wheel and tag us. #GimmeTheWheel.